From Cappadocia, Turkey. This is Josh Friedman coming to you on an impromptu Monday evening live stream from the famous Cappadocia region, which I'm trying to get you a view of here in Turkey. You're looking at some of the famous ferry towers, as they're called. That's not the proper, I don't think that's the, here I am in the city, I believe it is called Goreme, here in Cappadocia, Turkey. For whoever's tuned in, can you please let me know if the volume is okay? I think I should have the ability to stream out here. I've got some data on my phone, and as I slip a bit with some of the ferry chimneys in the background. I think the scientific term for them might be voodoos, which doesn't sound so scientific as well. But nonetheless, I'll give you somewhat of a view, or I'll give you some views here of Cappadocia and this town, I believe, is called Goreme. Here in southern central Turkey, it's a very, very beautiful region, as you can see, and I've been traveling around southern and southeastern Turkey for much of the past week, and it has been a very, very exciting adventure that I've been on. I've been traveling with Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media, and the focus of this trip has been to explore ancient sites and quite possibly advanced ancient civilizations. So we start out in Istanbul and then drove southeast, making our way first to the ancient underground city of Derinkuyu. Josh and I went down deep into Derinkuyu and were walking and sometimes crawling through little tunnels as we were exploring what possibly was an ancient civilization dating back thousands of years. That was very exciting, quite an adventure, and I'll be releasing footage of that in the coming days. After Derinkuyu, the main sites we hit were Gobekli Tepe, Karahan Tepe, and yesterday we went up to basically the peak of Mount Nemrut. I'll tell you a bit about those three destinations, fascinating destinations, each of them, and you can expect to see footage from each of them coming up in the coming days on this channel, and some more extensive reports on them on World Alternative Media, which Josh Sigurdson will be rolling out probably in the coming days and weeks. For whoever's tuned in, it looks like someone's tuned in right now. Could you please tell me if the volume is okay and how the picture is, if you can see any of these so-called fairy chimneys, these beautiful cone-shaped stones that line the hills and the valleys of Cappadocia. Anyway, so a bit about a few of these major stops that we've hit over the past week. I've already told you a little bit about Derinkuyu. So Gobekli Tepe is becoming quite a famous site in the archaeological world and among people who are interested in ancient civilizations. Got a comment saying volume and picture is fine. Thank you very much. Yeah, so Gobekli Tepe has become pretty famous. Lots of tours and tourists heading out there now. It's very close to the Turkish city of Eartha, or Shanley, Eartha, in southeastern Turkey, as I try to get you a bit more of the view here without blinding myself. Very bright, incredible weather. It's like 25 degrees in the evening right now and sunny, just picturesque everywhere we hit. So Gobekli Tepe, we're checking out some of the large T-shaped pillars and very impressive carvings in the pillars at this major excavation site in southeastern Turkey. And it's dated, I believe through carbon dating, to as far back as something like 9600 BC. And many people make the case that if there are these very impressive and advanced carvings and large T-shaped pillars, which you'll be seeing in footage on this channel in the coming days, then that is evidence of there being civilization dating as far back as possibly nearly 12,000 years, which is far beyond what mainstream history says was the start of civilization, or far before what mainstream history says was the start of civilization. So this Gobekli Tepe site in southeastern Turkey has become quite renowned, but also quite controversial, and I'm expecting there to be serious debate in the archaeological and historical communities worldwide for years to come over it, and I'm very grateful that I got to see it. Then the following day, we went to Karahan Tepe, which, unlike Gobekli Tepe, is known to almost no one, and albeit it is an excavation site, the excavation is really just starting. The first successful excavation was just 2.5 weeks ago, and unlike Gobekli Tepe, we were free to roam, and Josh and the other person who we were traveling with and I were a few of the very first people in the entire world to visit this site. Karahan, supposedly, at least according to the person we were talking to, whose family owns the property, something like 2 times the size of Gobekli Tepe. So if indeed there are more and more pillars found, as we expect there to be, because we already have seen some of the pillars with our own very eyes and even touched them. Ooh, I don't know, maybe gasp. I don't know if you're allowed to do that. Anyway, or supposed to do that. Yeah, we even touched some of the pillars with our own hands. So if indeed this site, Karahan Tepe, turns out to be what some people think it's going to be, then Karahan Tepe, along with Gobekli Tepe, might actually result in the rewriting of world history. And there are many people making the case that indeed world history needs to be rewritten, largely because of these sites, and because of that there are quite a few people who are very interested in following along our journey and our visit to Karahan Tepe just a couple days ago. And you'll see my raw reaction in the video that I'll publish. I didn't do a live stream from there, it's kind of the middle of nowhere, but I did vlog, so you'll see some of my raw reaction both on this channel and on World Alternative Media. It was truly incredible being there, but it really left me with a lot of curiosity and intrigue, because I can't tell you for sure one way or another. Like, I can't tell you whether it's a not so consequential site, although I kind of doubt that, and I can't tell you whether Karahan Tepe along with Gobekli Tepe will result in the rewriting of history. I must warn you that I'm gonna have to keep this live stream short, because I gotta get down this hill and back into the center of Goreme, and we need to depart pretty shortly. We're on a bit of a tight schedule. Lots of driving this week. It's just been a fascinating trip. I always love the time I spend in Turkey, and I keep coming back, and I've got a lot of great memories, and some not so great memories from the country as well, but this trip has truly been special. I don't think I've ever been on a trip quite like this. Rebecca's saying thank you for your efforts, thank you for tuning in, thank you for your interest. I must say that I'm a bit of a novice with regard to the topic matter that we've been focusing on the past week. So you probably, if you follow this channel, you're probably aware that my focus is more on geopolitics and travel than it is on the history of civilizations and ancient history. So a lot of this has been very new to me, but it's been so exciting, and I'm so grateful that I've been able to go along and see this all with my own eyes and even physically touch some of this history that's just being uncovered at this very moment. All right, so that other place that I alluded to it fits along the lines of what we're talking about, but it's different. All could tie in, really, Rebecca says. Yeah, I guess I'm just starting to barely piece some of the puzzle together, and I guess many other people are on that same boat, but I guess have been studying this for a lot longer than I have. And maybe as a human race, we're all just trying to figure this out, although I don't know how well known Gobekli Tepe and Karahan Tepe are worldwide at the moment. I'm guessing not that well known. Definitely not Karahan Tepe. Actually, I posted a photo on Instagram and I tagged myself at Karahan Tepe, and someone left a comment, "You're the first person to ever tag yourself at Karahan Tepe." So yeah, pretty brand new. Anyway, this place that we went to yesterday was Mount Nemrut. I shot a video or a vlog up there, which I'll probably post after the Darren Kuyu, Gobekli Tepe, and Karahan Tepe footage. Mount Nemrut is a mountain in what in ancient times or biblical times was the region of Mesopotamia. I guess you could say it still is, between the Euphrates and the Tigris rivers from the Bible, and we were looking down at the Euphrates River, or at least a dam dams at the end of the Euphrates River, or start of the Euphrates River. It was an incredible scene high up in the mountains of southern Turkey at Mount Nemrut, where it just so happens that right below the peak there is what at least historians say is the tomb of King Antiochus I. Apparently King Antiochus I commissioned this tomb up just below the peak of Mount Nemrut, and there's some very, very impressive statues and carvings up there, primarily of Greek and Persian gods from what I understand, and you'll be seeing the footage coming on this channel, and I guess maybe in some Instagram posts as well. And it was just an incredible setting up there. Now, if the history with Mount Nemrut is accurate, and it doesn't seem to be nearly as controversial as that with Gobekli Tepe, but if it's accurate, then those stone carvings up near the very top of Mount Nemrut date back to just before the time of Christ, so I guess date back a little more than 2,000 years when Antiochus was alive, or I guess shortly after his death. Now, that's probably not going to have anything to do with the rewriting of history, but nonetheless, it was very impressive to see these large stone carvings that date back very far, more than 2,000 years, we think, and that were so high up and in this region of biblical proportions. And then likewise, maybe I should mention that after we left Gobekli Tepe, we went to the Shanley Eartha Museum, which is a very interesting place and is said to have the oldest statue in the world. This isn't something I included in my vlog, although it's something I included in my Instagram stories. This statue, I think, is supposed to be something like 12,000 years old, although the dating varies. And I guess this statue, as is the case with Gobekli Tepe and possibly Karahan Tepe, could foreseeably factor into this debate over rewriting history. And then also in that Shanley Eartha Museum, there are lots of artifacts from Gobekli Tepe. It was a very, very interesting place to visit. All kinds of ancient artifacts in there. Anyway, as you can see, this has been a very, very new experience for me. And in some ways, it's a very new experience for everyone worldwide when we're coming across sites like Gobekli Tepe and Karahan Tepe, and it's something that I've truly enjoyed exploring. And when you get to stop in a place like Cappadocia, and it's just another place along the the road and the trip. I mean, I would guess that you can get an understanding for just how special of a trip this has been and just how excited I have been. Rebecca's saying amazing site. I guess you're talking about the site you're looking at right now, which is Cappadocia and the town of Goreme, I believe it's pronounced, yes. Yeah, I would give you a little bit more of a view, but the sun, as you can see, is coming down fast here, so I can only really give you a clear view of this side. But yeah, I don't think I'll be releasing any more footage. Simon's saying fantastic. I don't think I'll be releasing any more footage of Cappadocia, but if you want me to, I can probably post something, maybe some photos on the community board, something like that. I mean, the main Cappadocia has not been one of the main destinations on this trip, but like I said, I mean, when you have this incredible of a destination and it's not even one of the main sites on the trip, then you can get a feeling of how incredible of a trip this has been, which is thanks in large part, if not almost entirely, to the man who's behind me. Maybe I could bring him on really quickly. This is Josh Sigurdson. I'm guessing most of you probably know of World Alternative Media. Josh, all I've got to say is thank you so much.
Thank you for coming along.
This has been such an incredible experience.
You know, this is one of the most incredible countries in the world. There's so much to see, and you mentioned it earlier. I mean, you cannot see everything in one trip. It probably would take 100 trips before you even start to scratch the surface. There's so much to do, so much to see in Turkey, and it's really great to be able to explore this land with other people, of course, that I can speak with in English. That's also nice, from north to south. And
what, you don't speak fluent Turkish?
No, but maybe a little Kurdish. But anyway, no, it's an amazing place to see, and there's so much to look at. And I mean, this is just one of these places. I mean, this is close to Derinkuyu, which has the underground cities, and I mean, everything's so mysterious out here and so historical, and there's just a million things to explore. So I highly suggest people, if they're interested on going on an adventurous vacation somewhere, Turkey is probably one of the better places to go, and you won't bump into as many of the tourist traps, and you of course will have no problem.
We say that with tourists taking photos
well,
right
there's
behind
a
us.
few people, but I mean, for the most part, it's also so much cheaper than so many of the places around this region. I mean, north of this region and west, that is. But it's quite amazing. So I heavily suggest people check it out.
Amen to that, and thank you so much. We've got to head down the hill, so I've got to wrap this up. But anyone, if you've got one quick question or comment, please leave it right now. I hope you heard that because I pulled out my earphones, but it shows that we're still live, so I presume that was not a... Going to wrap this up in just a matter of seconds. If no one has any comments or questions, as I said, you can... Oh, I've got it in the wrong ear. Hopefully that wasn't a problem. Thank you, broken words. Yeah, it was probably my broken words because I put the earphone in the wrong ear. But yeah, stay tuned to World Alternative Media over the coming days and weeks, and you're going to be seeing this incredible footage from this incredible trip in detail and in long form, and you can see some shorter form vlogs on this channel. So thank you very much for tuning in. I'm grateful that I got to sneak in this little peek of Cappadocia and of Turkey while I'm still on this adventure. And for now, güle güle from Turkey.